Hi, my name is Enda Murray and I'm the director of the Irish Film Festival. I'm delighted to be joined tonight by Brendan Canty, the director of CHRISTY, and Danny Power, who plays the lead role of Christy in the film. Brendan and Danny, you're very welcome to the Q&A.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Brendan, can I start with you? Where did the idea for Christy come about? I know that you had worked with Alan O'Gorman on an earlier story, which was a short. Can you tell us about how the whole thing came together?
Yeah, so me and Alan, I think we always wanted to write a film that was based in Cork and kind of probably based around people that we'd grown up with, no one specifically, but people we were kind of played football with, went to school with or whatever. And so we started writing a film. Alan also would have worked with a lot of kids in the care system when he was teaching in a school in Manchester, and his mum is also a social worker. So kind of ideas from there came and kind of merged with a bunch of ideas we had from kind of growing up or whatever, and bit by bit, very organically over time, the idea came together. We made a short film in 2019 of the same name. You can see it online, and that's when we found Danny Power, and we found the rest of the cast, who a lot of them came from a place called the Cabin Studios, which is a kind of a youth kind of creative hub in Cork that teaches kids how to make hip hop. And when we found all those kids and that cast, that kind of inspired the film we are seeing now. So it kind of came together through just loads of different organic happenings over many, many years.
Danny, were you involved in the cabin? Can you tell us about your involvement? What is the cabin? I'm keen to know about it.
Yeah, before I was an actor, I started rapping at the age of 9, and I was rapping in a place it was in the Hut, a place called the Hut, where we started first, and I think 1 or 2 years after I joined, we went to the cabin, which is in Knocknaheeny, basically literally just a porter cabin, where we used to create music and create beats, but it was there for a while, and we were all there, but it just got this, because Knocknaheeny has such a sense of community. When people started joining, they'd go back and tell their friends, and they'd tell their friends. And it was just like this big thing where kids would just come and they could just be free, they could express themselves in music, in making beats, or if they liked writing stuff, And then when I turned 17, I actually met Brendan when Brendan came up and he was looking to do auditions for Christy in the cabin. So I went for that. And I wasn't playing Christy originally, I was playing someone else, but I got the part of Christy after a while, and yeah, it just went from there. The cabin is great, especially for kids. Like the kids up there have so much talent, and they're so interested in being there. It's not forced upon them; they really want to be there.
Yeah, it's very empowering for the young people.
So, Brendan, I'm interested in the writing process for the film. How did that happen?
Well, we got in after we made the short. We got into development with BBC Film, and like talk about imposter syndrome. Me and Alan were like, "How the fuck do we end up here?" And let's not ruin this opportunity. So we really were like trying to like Googling 3-act structures, all of this stuff to try and like figure out how to write a feature film and not mess it up. And in fairness to BBC, they saw right through that, and they were like, can you just abandon structure and just focus on these kind of offbeat, surreal, weird stories that you've been telling us, the real specific stories about Cork and the language and all of that sort of stuff. Just focus, just go wild on that sort of stuff. And it was really freeing for us. So me and Alan just went back in, and it was just a playground, and it was during COVID as well, which was kind of a lovely thing to be having to do during COVID. And me and Alan were just going back and forth, sending drafts and drafts and drafts to each other. And it was really nice because we had made the short, so we had all these amazing actors to write for. Like, we know how they talked, and there were such characters and stuff like that. So they were so vivid in our mind, and we just had loads of ideas. So over time, we just kind of wrote for these people and developed the script with an amazing team, and then the structure started to come back over time then, and uh and then a year, maybe in 2022, I think, a year before the film, we did these development workshops where we brought in the cast for a week, and we just brought ideas from the script and had a play, all improv, delved into the backstories of all the characters to just to discover who they really were. And that gave us so much more ideas, but it also empowered the actors, or made gave them ownership of the characters and stuff like that, which I think really led to some of the amazing performances you see. Like, none of the actors just really showed up on the day and were given lines. They helped us create the characters, and so it was a really special, and that was all experimenting to me. Me and Alan would be big fans of like Shane Meadows, who made like This Is England, and he did a similar sort of workshops, and so we tried to do something like that, and it was a really amazing process and totally new for everybody, but I think it ended up in something special.
Brilliant. Danny, what was your experience of this whole process? Like, rocking up, and you must have had some expectations, and yeah, I'm interested in your journey through it.
Yeah, it was strange because I've never played a role like that before. I've never played like such a big role like that before, or such an intricate role with such real raw emotions that you need for such a character. So it wasn't extremely hard, but to find my way through that character, through his backstory, to try relive memories that he had when he was younger, to find the emotions that he would have felt in different parts of the film. It was tough, but it was a nice journey. It was nice to be able to find yourself as someone else and be in someone else's shoes and see what their life is like. So it was different. It was a lot different to what I'm used to, because I do research characters when I'm doing them, but this character I really had to kind of delve deep in and find parts of myself that were like Christy. So it was like a 50-50 of Christy and Danny.
So, can you tell me, did you go to acting school? Have you got any formal training in acting?
No, I never went to acting school. Really, when I was getting older, I never really wanted to be an actor. I wanted to go to the army. That was my dream job. I always wanted to go to the army, but when I turned 17, Brendan showed up and asked for an audition. I done the audition, and I never left since.
So, Brendan, I was intrigued by the way that you combined the story of Christy and Shane on one side, and then on the other side you had the community, and you managed to balance those both, those two stories. That Can you tell us a bit about how that evolved, that writing?
That's a good question, because that was, as you can imagine, one of our biggest challenges, because on one side we've got this quite a specific story about these two brothers. There's a lot of exposition. There's a lot of that needs to be told. Just getting the care system right, and like, it's called Christie, so you're kind of expecting a story about one man and his brother. But then we had this amazing community, and like with these characters that were larger than life, and at its heart, the film is about community, I think. So we had to like give them their place, and then we really wanted everyone to have their moment, and it just it just took a lot of fine tuning and rewrites to find that balance. And then it took a lot in the edit as well, just to moving things around. And I feel like in the edit, actually, that's where that came from. It's like we would have done lots of passes of the film where, like, okay, this is a Christie pass, where you're just focusing on Christie's journey. Now and this, I'm talking, this might take a month. Then we did a Shane pass. So, like, this is a version of the edit which is really focusing on Shane's journey. And we did that with kind of a lot of the characters. And then that really helps us to be like, find the really important moments that we need, and also find the space. And like me and Alan, we really craved space to just be in the world, and maybe not so much be in the story. And we really had to work hard to try and find that, because as I said, it was like the foster care story is something that really needed to be explained, because it's quite complicated, like, to get it authentically right. And I think with that, we had such a responsibility to get it right, because we wanted, like, if you're in the care system and you're watching this, it's so important to us that those people feel represented by this film, like, and believe it every step of the way, like, so um I was really tricky. And I think, yeah, it just came from a lot of work and trial and error, I think.
Yeah, we were talking last night with Hazel Doop and about her film Kathleen is Here, and she was talking about exactly the same thing. So that's a kind of a yeah, there's intersection there. But one of the things I was really taken by when you're writing in the your press kit was about how. Men have an inability to show emotions, but in this case, it was the community that supports Christy. But you talk about trying to figure out life without male role models, and that really hit me. I thought, wow, that's a very good description of Christy. Um, it, 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 yeah, look, I was interested. You met Jan Demange. Is that how I pronounce it? Yeah, and like I was reading up about him, and he spent time in foster care himself. So, do you want to tell the people who Jan Demange is, and how you got him involved?
Yeah, so Jan Demange is an incredible director, kind of from London, but of French and Algerian background. And he would have, I think he was one of the creators and the directors on Top Boy, that series. And he also directed an amazing film called 71, set in Belfast during the Troubles. An incredible, incredible director, and someone I've admired for a long time. And we just got very lucky, because the first producer that came on board with Christy, Marina Brackenbury, was a really good friend of Jan. And when we met her for the first time and told her about the story, she was like, "I know Jan would love that," because I think she told me before that Jan always wanted to tell a story about the care system and foster kids, but it was maybe too close to the bone for him to do it. So she sent the script or the treatment or whatever it was at the stage to him, and he was really into it. And so he got on board as an executive producer, which helped so much for, obviously, advice on that front, but for me personally, just practical advice on how to make your first film, and giving me the confidence to do it. And also, when you have someone of that experience, it's easier for the likes of BBC or whoever to trust a first time director, because they know that you've got this experienced hand alongside you, you know.
Yes, and did he come to Knocknaheeny?
He did, yeah. He came, like, he at the time he was very busy making. He was making a Marvel movie at the time, which I don't think happened in the end. But he came during pre-production, and look, went to some of the locations and talked through some of my shot lists or whatever plans for the shoot. And then he came for a few days of shooting as well. He loved it. He was like, this, because as I said, he was making a Marvel movie at the time, and he was like, this is the sort of movie I'd much prefer to be making.
There seems to be a real buzz. I saw the Spark video. 8 million views is pretty good for a new band from Knocknaheeny. But in Galway, the buzz around the film. Do you want to tell us about the crack in Galway, Danny, when for the premiere there?
Yeah, God, Galway was crazy. I've been to a lot of premieres for this film in Germany, Poland, Romania. But like Galway was by far one of the best. Like the crowd and the way they reacted to it, responded to it, was exactly what we wanted to see in Ireland, and it was crazy. And it's I love these things as well because you meet so many people that have so many different opinions, or they see so many different things in a film, and it just makes you realize what's happening in what you've done in that film, and it makes you feel good about yourself when you see that people are impressed with what you've done. Yeah, so Galway Film Festival was crazy.
And do you think that has fed back to Knocknaheeny? Do you think people in Knocknaheeny have a spring in their step after um, working on a project like CHRISTY?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think people when they first hear of Cork, or if they come into Cork and people talk to them about Cork, Knocknaheeny always kind of gets a bad rap, but I've been there up there for years making music and now making a film, and it's the community up there is absolutely crazy. Everyone knows everyone knows everything about everyone. So I think that people in Knocknaheeny should be really proud, and this movie shows how proud they should be about it.
Oh, Brendan, what for you? Have you got a memory that stands out from the shoot? It might be a funny memory, maybe. Was there anything like looking back that sticks in your mind?
Um, one thing that comes to mind was there's a scene in the film where Christy and Shane are finally having it out just after seeing the foster worker or whatever, and it's in the rain, and they're really just trying to communicate with each other, and it's coming out super messy. And they're shouting at each other. Anyway, when we were filming that, it just happened to be right next to an English language school, and they're having their final year exams, and the teacher and their windows are open, and their teacher came out being like, sorry, can you keep it down, or because the final year exams are happening there. And we were like, sorry, we absolutely can't. So we probably, I don't know, a lot of students in there probably failed their exams because these two lads were just screaming outside the window and they were trying to concentrate.
Danny, what was your favorite memory from the shoot?
Well, I loved all of it, but my probably favorite moment was probably bringing my son on set because my son played younger me in the flashbacks. He played younger Christy, so seeing him on camera for the first time at the age of, I think he was 3 at the time, was my favorite moment. And just watching the film and seeing him in it is my biggest achievement. So
That's lovely. That's lovely. Hey, what just what we're running out of time, but what you got on at the moment, Brendan?
I have a few film ideas, but they're such early days. So just kind of working, teasing those things out. We're also working on a TV show set in the world of Christie, which is really exciting. And then I'm just kind of pitching to direct some other TV and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff, nothing concrete, all early days, but all very exciting as well. I'm That's the cool thing about this job. It's like I have no idea what will be the next thing, and I'm just excited to see where this journey brings us.
Will you get down to Australia, New Zealand in the new year? We're shouting for you to get down here.
I really hope so. My wife's Kiwi, so I lived in Auckland for during COVID for like 2 years. So it'll be a dream to come back, and it'll be a dream to come back with this film. So fingers crossed we can make that happen.
Danny, what you got on at the moment?
I just finished filming a TV series a month and a half ago, so that'll be coming out next year. And I'm doing another feature film, an American film, which I can't really talk about, but I'm doing that next month. So I have a few things going on.
Hey, I'm glad that you met Brendan and you're an actor and not in the Irish Army. I was in the Irish Army. I was in the Irish Army myself for a little, the reserves. Join today's army and eat yesterday's dinner tomorrow. But look, look, it's brilliant to talk to you guys, and I love the film, and I love the crack in Cork, and yeah, just like the heart that you've got for for the community is just fantastic. So best of luck with it, and hope, Danny, I hope we get to chat again sometime down the road. Good Amila Maya, Slán agus Bannock.
Slán.